And we're back. Woo! Finished working for the day. So I had an interesting experience today. It's kind of bright, so I got to put this up. Hope it doesn't bother you too much now that I'm two-toned. So in DC, with limited options, as in like New York and a lot of other places and whatnot, when it comes to working on your craft, doing open mic and stuff like that, I always continue to write, and I never stopped. I always continue to write, and I always continue to write. And I would practice absolutely everywhere I could go, because I didn't really have a stage, so I made the world my stage. And that's what I do to this day, because there's a lot of different types of people and experiences and moments that you could talk shit with, but you can catch off guard and you can say a whole bit. I do a bit a lot of times, and the guy doesn't even know I do it. I mean, he does, but not really, you know, because I feel like if you tell somebody, hey, I got a joke to tell you, you got their expectations up here. But if you just sort of say it in a conversational way, in my opinion, it's depending on your style of comedy, it can work out, and you could pretty much do it anywhere, and that's what I do. And I try it out on multiple different places and stuff like that before it even gets to a stage. So, you know, I'll do it at a checkout line, all sorts of stuff, I mean, constantly. But anyway, so when I was in DC, people always, and I'm not talking about myself. I don't like to what anybody praises yourself, and that's not what I'm doing. But here's the thing: if there's something good and you're just reporting that information, it is what it is. So that's all I'm doing. Okay? So when I was in DC, people would, through my job that I do and whatnot, I would have a lot of time conversating and talking back and forth, and I would always like slip in jokes and do this while I was working and this and that. And people always telling me, hey, you should be a comedian. Hey, you should be a comedian. All the time. And I just sort of like, I said, hey, that's nice, you know, because situationally I didn't really have an option to pursue that, which is why I moved out here with my awesome wife who fully supports me and everything. And here it's so great because they have a list of all these different places, Sunday through Saturday, that you can go every single day of the week and practice comedy and get better and work on it. You can travel, you can go to Los Angeles, and you can do all sorts of stuff. You always have options, you know, not even the ones that are presented to you. And you know, now that I'm here, I get to work on that craft and pursue my dreams, more than one, along with acting and writing and stuff like that. But something interesting happened today, and it just sort of made me think about what people would say when I was working in DC and whatnot. And somebody told me today, we were talking about something, and there were these two ladies that I was speaking with, and I was trying out like some new material, and they didn't know it. I didn't like say, hey, I'm gonna tell you a joke. I just do it as I do. I try to bring it up in a conversation, kind of like just segue into the material one way or another. And I made them both laugh and hard too, to the point it was like distracting for other people. And I'm telling myself, all right, that works. And then one of them said, you should be a comedian. And it was different, and I sort of realized right when she said that I'm not in DC anymore. And instead of just sort of shrugging my shoulders and be like, yeah, that would be nice, this time I smiled. And it meant a lot to me, because you know, to travel thousands of miles, to move your whole life, your whole house, as far as something that you believe in my opinion, there is no better place. I'm sure there's great places, but as far as I'm aware, there's not just a better place to live. I'm very pro-Texas, which is why I moved down here, but there's no better place to be a better up-and-comer, because places like the Comedy Store and all these other places, I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and he made a comment that it's an interesting thing, because the Comedy Store and all these other places where you should have to pay $500 to see multiple people on a professional level work out their new material in an open mic scenario. Nowadays it only costs like $10, but like 20 years ago, it was like a ghost town, and it was a place you could sort of come up at But now the places for up-and-comers, those hot spots, which are now hot spots, they're pretty much just for the pros, and that's great. They got a place, they got to work on materials, they have a lot of spots. But this was Joe Rogan saying it, and he made a comment that it sort of puts the up-and-comers in an awkward predicament. So with that being mentioned, I think that there's not a better place to be than Texas, in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. Maybe there's a lot of places, other places, that's great. This is my opinion. But when that lady told that to me, I smiled. The reason why I smiled is because I'm already pursuing my dream, and I'm one step closer. And I was serious enough to move halfway across the country to pursue it and take that next step. And knowing that I do material, and I'm still writing, and now I'm pursuing my dream and everything. It was something that I acknowledged, or I like, not really acknowledged, but I kind of like noticed that steps of fruition were already coming to be of stuff that I was working on. Now, if you were already in Texas and stuff, if you're already in Fort Worth and you already had this around you, more props to you, for real, like 100%. And I can't say it doesn't mean as much to you as it does to me, but what I can say is I know how much it means to me to sell my house and to move here, with this being the plan, and a job and an opportunity and everything else, which will be able to help me progress into doing this full time. And I don't really believe in days off. I might have said that before. I'm very, 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 very analytical. If you ever see me doing stand-up, I'm always like recording my sets, not just watching what I do good, but what I do bad, or maybe not necessarily bad. What I can work on is what I'm saying, not bad. So I don't really consider anything that you do as potentially bad, provided by you're recording it and you're checking your results on it and stuff, because you can always get better from it. And the stuff that you do good, you can do even better on that also. But it just meant a lot to me because as I was driving, after I left this place that I was talking to these ladies at on the job and whatnot, it just sort of clicked. And I realized something that she had said, and how in the reverse, in the parallel situation, when I had been told that, and I've been told that before since I'm already in Texas. I've been told that multiple times, but it wasn't really anything that I compared it to when it happened, and I did today, and it kind of clicked. And that's why I smiled, and I was just thinking about that. So, man, LG, baby, life is good. By the way, that's not too corny. LG is actually the name of a TV company. They make electronics too. I've also been told it's been called Lucky Gold Star, but I checked it out. I believe it's called Life is Good, or maybe that's just their phrase, and it's called Lucky Gold Star. Whatever. So, yeah, it just meant a lot to me. I want to do a quick video about this. I know I can talk for fucking ever, so I don't really look at the length of it. But if, hypothetically, if I had a 1-hour podcast or longer or something like that, I could easily rant like Bill Burr for an hour without even talking. I mean, without even trying. I would never compare myself. If someone ever wants to compare me to anybody else, that's on them. But I only use him as a reference because he's the only person I know does a solo podcast by himself with no guests. 99.99% done percent of the time. So that's the only reason I said it, because yeah, like I said, this is a docu-vlog. I think that may be a made-up term, maybe not. If it is, great, I coined it. If not, salute. Don't give a shit. But anyway, this is just more of me updating. Hey, how's everybody doing? And just getting this out, because I really believe that there's a lot of different things that you can observe and make as benchmarks in your life, and it could be something small that you can make big, or big that you can make small. And I don't have a skill as far as how this was, but it was something that I noticed, and I wanted to say something about it, because it makes me happy to know that Monday I'll be at one place, and there's this other place I found out. I gotta check on my phone, or on my schedule, my planner actually. Another place, some bar or something like that on Wednesday that I'm going to be going to. So I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to be looking for a 10-minute spot, because I've been doing enough of I know my 5-minute set perfect. I know my 6 to 10-minute set perfect. And what I'm doing is, feel free to do it if you want, whatever. I figured out the best way to do it is to start all my new 5-minute sets as a segue from where I left off So where I started this week about my wife and I, how did I start out? Oh yeah, the whole thing. If you watched it, great. If you didn't, basically it talks about me starting an Instagram account. Pretty much from that all the way down to the whole talking about The Rock and imported adoption stuff. That's been at 6 through 10. And then, but yeah, that where that starts is exactly where I left off for my last 5-minute set. So now I'm just working on 11 through 15 and then 16 through 20, etc. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I rehearse a lot. I'm a big believer that there's no such thing as over-preparing, but there is such a thing as under-preparing. There's no such thing as like thinking less when you're on stage, because that actually allows you to sort of like free up and be able to, like, in my opinion, this is just me, to really like free up yourself and just be able to react to the crowd and enjoy it more and stuff like that. Something else that I was thinking the other day, when somebody says, how long have you been doing comedy, where does that clock really start? Does it start how long you've been writing, or how long you've been on stage, or how long you've been trying to pursue it as a professional or stuff like that? And somebody asked me that the other day, and I'm just going to stick with 6 months. But hypothetically, if somebody makes a comment, or if somebody says that I've been doing it longer than that or something like that, that's not the case. But I really have been I've been improvising for the only stage that I can. And I talk a lot in my job, and I'm always slipping in material while I'm doing it. So, and not just that, conversations, talking shit with my boys in the Army and stuff. So I really use the world as my stage. I don't believe that you can just get the exact result when you're holding a microphone. Now, not stylistically, but I'm saying situationally the format is different, because it's not as a conversation. It is all together, and you are holding a microphone, and there's like stage presence awareness, and I get that. I understand that. But what I'm getting at is, in my personal opinion, I believe that you can, in the same way that if you're an actor that's out of work, you can memorize monologues, you can work on accents, you can do all sorts of other stuff. In the exact way as a comedian, I think that there's more than just one avenue. And I've been pursuing every single other avenue except for being on stage. So, where does my clock start as far as doing comedy? I'm going to say about 6 months. But in all reality, I've been writing for a while. I might have said it before, but I've been writing since about 2008, and been trying every single thing that I could, from taking an amp down in DC, saying jokes at bars. And I'm not just trying to say jokes, I'm actually working on actual bits, airing it out and trying it. And it doesn't, the thing is, there's this really great jiu-jitsu guy, former UFC champion, BJ Penn. I don't believe that if you've been doing something a long time, now there's these weird things with experience, because if you're doing something like a long ass time, you could be great at it, or you could be like an asshole who parks in a fucking handicap spot for 15 years and you're perfectly healthy. Just because you're doing something a long time, that doesn't mean you're good at it, and that doesn't mean you're right. That's one of the things that I fucking hate the most. You know how sometimes people try to act like they can fucking trump you? Sorry, I'm getting a little fucking worked up. You know how sometimes people can be like, listen, I've been working here 10 years, you're wrong. That doesn't mean dick all. I hate that shit. You know that thing that people, and that's actually going to be a bit at some point, but that's already written, it's down the road, I just haven't, gotten into it. But I hate that shit. I hate that shit when you're in a conversation, or it's a social surrounding or something, and someone says they've known something for like 10 years, so that makes them right, or they've been doing it for this amount of long. Look, experience doesn't make you more right or better by any stretch of the imagination. Can it? Yeah. 100%. If you are passionate about something, if you've been doing something a long time, do you have experience? Yes. But you could also have the wrong fucking experience. It's kind of like a shitty leader. If you have a shitty leader of a military or something like that, and, in the military, you basically cannot get fired unless you fuck up really bad. But if you're just a shitty leader, you will continue to get promoted and lead people. Okay? That's just the facts. Automatic promotions and all sorts of stuff like that. But that doesn't change. You could be a parent for 20 years, and you're a horrible ass fucking parent. True story. 100%. It could happen. So the only reason why I'm saying that is because regardless of me being on stage 6 months, I'm just going to say that is what it is, and that's fine. I've been doing comedy 6 months. But if it seems like I've been doing it longer, it's because I've been using other avenues, and the thing that I'm more or less really just working on at the most is kind of stage presence, but I've done other acting-esque type stuff, so I'm familiar with my surroundings in that aspect. And you know what? Some people might listen to me and be like, hey, he's full of shit. Listen, that's great. If you don't like me, you think I'm full of shit, that's fine. You can send me a direct message, and I'll give you my phone number. And if you ever are upset or you're angry or you want to talk about it, you can just scroll down your phone, okay? And when you see my name, okay, you just scroll down. And once you see me, you just keep on scrolling past me, because I don't listen to your whiny shit. Seriously. You know, in all reality, everybody can say whatever they want about anybody at any point. I'm not disrespecting anybody, but the truth is that I've only been doing comedy on stage for about 6 months. I've been writing longer, a lot longer, and I've been doing everything that I possibly can in the will of God to work on it in other avenues and in other aspects, and incorporating it in my job and my personal life and my social life and stuff like that. And it was just something that I was sort of airing out and thinking about, because I see some people who have been doing comedy or acting or whatever for a long ass time, and sometimes both of those come together. If you are able to have many years of experience with that passion and drive and your raw like love and desire for it, that's what forges a diamond. In my opinion, that's what makes you great. But if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, and if you don't know what jiu-jitsu is, I can't help you. It's the art of choking people out and breaking shit, all right? If you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you've been doing jiu-jitsu 10 years and you're a white belt, you see what I'm saying? Like, how long, like, yeah, that whole time thing, it's just a weird question. I was thinking about the other day when somebody asked me, and I don't really know how to answer that. But I do know that in 10 years of time, you can make the most of it, and you can make the least of it. Now, two guys could have been doing comedy both for 10 years. One guy does it once a month, one guy does it every day. Maybe the guy that does it once a month is a fucking savage murderer. He's just hilarious as shit. Or it could be the opposite. You could say the guy with more experience, because he's on stage more, is the better of the two comics. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the truth. That's what it just comes down to, creativity and your drive and your passion, your way of life and your originality and shit like that. So, yeah, there's not really an end point to this conversation, but it was just something that I was just sort of thinking the other day. And it's just one of those things, you know, that the whole reason why I said that thing about BJ Penn is because he didn't do jiu-jitsu a day in his life. And he got his black belt in 3 years. And he won the Worlds. And somebody said, like, hey, dude, you're so good. How long have you been doing it? He said 3 years. And they said, well, how are you so good? And this guy, BJ Penn, he's a badass Hawaiian, former UFC champion, more than one weight division, fucking monster. Anyway. And he was like, he's from Hawaii, so he was like, I was just obsessed, man. And maybe I can't do like a Hawaiian accent the best, but that's the thing about me. And it may be for everybody else, but this is me talking, so whatever. I'm obsessed with it. Seriously. I mean, I screenshot funny stuff that I think are different ideas, and I try it out, and I try to work it out and stuff. You know, anything that attracts negativity, anything that attracts positivity, if you're just focused on yourself, fuck all that other shit. Pardon my French, but seriously, I give Zulu fucks. And I'm not saying that in like an aggressive, mean way. I'm just saying, if you're focused on yourself, You don't have to worry about whatever other people say. Somebody might give me an honest compliment, and somebody might talk shit about me behind my back. You know what that matters to me? Dick all. Because while they're talking shit, I'm doing something productive. You know? So anyway, it was just something weird that I was just sort of thinking as far as like, what is experience, what is talent, what is drive, and all these other things. But I can tell you the one thing that I have, which is belief. And I have belief in myself, and in my opinion, that counts more than anything. But belief with just belief by itself is absolutely nothing. But I believe between my work ethic and my crazy stories from living in Germany and Italy and Russia and all sorts of other stuff, and just how I am naturally. I think that everybody is different, but I can speak for myself, and I don't compare myself to other people. And I know in a weird way I kind of have to compare myself to say I'm different, but I just have a lot of circumstances that happen to me that I can't relate to. Not in a bad way, but just a lot of unique experiences. And those unique experiences to me are what I think are the most fun and the most attractive. And what I like the most when I hear in comedy, I think hearing all these, like, you know, crazy facts about like Egypt or fucking Wales or science or whatever the hell, incorporating that in your comedy, or a crazy personal story or something like that only you can relate to, unless that actually happened to you. Which, if it's a personal story and unique, that's what my opinion goes the farthest, because nobody can relate to your personal stories. In the exact way, I'm not going to have anything that can probably relate to you. You probably can't have anything to relate to me. Oh, what? We both like ham sandwiches? Maybe. You know, but have you done this? Maybe not. Have you done that? Maybe not. Did I do anything that you did? Maybe not. But, yeah, so I know I'm ranting. But if it's something interesting that you thought about, and you're very, very analytical, you could ask yourself, how long have I been doing comedy? And then maybe if that answer is longer than you originally expected, depending on when you start that clock, maybe just noticing that gives you a little bit more confidence. So great, God bless you. That's great. I'm not trying to pull anybody back or hurt anybody or anything. But yeah, so I'm always just asking myself, like, not even on purpose, but I think that I think differently. In my opinion, I believe I do. And I get in deep thought, and I write stuff down, and I just sort of like, I've always sort of like lived in my own head. You know what I mean? You know, it's more than just being analytical, because I really like push the bounds. That's such an arrogant, stupid thing to say, but what I'm trying to get at is, like, I really get into like deep thought and like stretch my imagination, and in short, I think differently than most people, or than everybody, maybe. I mean, I guess if I'm me and there's only one of me, I think differently than everybody else, right? That makes sense if there's only one of me. And I'm sure you probably turned off by now, but that's fine. Yeah, I know I went off on a rant, and I'm still going to upload this. But, yeah, today was a really, really good, I don't like using the word good, because I don't like to give myself any kudos by any means. But today was a really different kind of day, because just noticing where I am and what they said and how it kind of clicked, it just meant a lot. You see, even now I'm like redacting words I just said. Like, I don't try to have words like impact me, and I don't try to have words define me. But what I'm trying to get at is I observed it, I noticed it, and I smiled. And the reason why I smiled when somebody said you should be a comedian is because I was just noticing the steps that I had taken, and just noticing that these steps were taken are actions. And that was just some noticeable actions, and something where I figured is if anything good happens, you observe it, you notice it, don't get emotional, and move on. Because in my opinion, celebrating is worthless. I mean it. I think celebrating is absolutely worthless, and the reason why is because I don't like to celebrate anything, and the reason why is because for myself. For other people, I will celebrate their stuff, but for me, I don't celebrate my stuff, and the reason why is because I don't want to stop and notice one moment, because I'm already focusing on the next. So maybe you got a little more insight into the dichotomy of my mind and how I think and whatnot. It's a big word. It's a fun one. Feel free to use it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, it's on this side. I'll remember that because it's on this side of the window. Click here. Click the like. If you dislike it, give me a dislike. Talk some shit. Do what you want. That's fine. You know, I welcome all haters and lovers and fighters and all sorts of other people. And if you know me personally, give me a call. That's cool too, dude. But I only have like 4 people, like 6 phone numbers in my whole fucking phone, and I only talk to like 2 of them consistently. Actually, one of them consistently. The other one, he's a cop and he fucking breaks heads and kicks down doors and shit. He's such a cool guy. So anyway, hope you liked the video, and I will be at the Mad Hatter this Monday working out new material. Of course, I'm going to have it prepared. I'm going to be working on it, and it won't even be the first time I've said it on stage, but it'll be more refined. And then Wednesday, I can't even say. I think it's called like Lucky's or something like that. It's a bar, but it's a different spot, and I saw it off this really cool website where it has like all of the list of all the stuff that's going on. So anyway, I hope you liked my video. And thank you. Have a great day. I gotta go return some shirts and shit because they are way too fucking big. If this lady opens up, you're about to watch a crime happen. Not with me. This lady looks like she's about here. She looks like she's about to hit my car. Is it gonna happen? Is it about to go down? If it does, I'll turn the camera. I'll leave it up to anticipation. Well, let's see. Hi, ma'am. Yeah, no, she didn't hit my car. Lucky her. All right, guys. Thank you again for your time. Have a beautiful day. I'll be at this place called Mad Hatters. It's a cool-ass, awesome-ass bar on Monday. And on Wednesday, I think it's this place called Lucky's. So, anyway, have a great day. Salute. Peace.